the several questions that I really don't like is what is that painting about? And the other one is, let me tell you about this painting. And those two questions just drive me right up a wall, because you spend an entire career trying to deliver your message visually. And when you're all through, you present it to the world, and they say, fine, what's it about? I hope I get a wow out of them, and very often I do. I've had people come into my studio and my house and look at the paintings who have never dealt with art before, or paintings before, and I'll get a response from them which pleases me tremendously. They don't know what the hell they're looking at, but their response was favorable through nothing that I said. They looked at the painting, they reacted to it, and they reacted positively. My painting is always based on formal aesthetic problems. There is no subject behind my paintings at all. If you see a subject in them, it's accidental. The viewer may bring what he wants. I'm not delivering a subject. I want to call the attention to the paint, the lushness of the application of the paint, the color. Color, the old cliche is the only important color on a painting is the second one you put on. The first one doesn't matter. The second one matters a little more, and then I think decreasingly. I have a tendency to almost deliberately to use unlovely or unlikely color combinations. Blue and red, orange and green, purple and green. Those essentially they don't go together, but I'm trying for two things, for several things. One is I don't want the viewer or even myself to stop at the attractiveness of the color. Using unlovely color combinations forces you to go beyond the pictorial. The surface is related to color. I try to get a uniformly exciting surface, foreground and background. There's hardly a lull in any portion of my paintings. And I try to deny this foreground background element. I try not to have these single forms sitting on top of a colored background. The way to get around it is by painting the background just as intently, just as bright as the foreground, so that it creates a confusion of what's foreground and what's background. Cézanne did that. He denied deep space, he denied depth, and I subscribe to that too. Monolithic is another instance of the use of a word that is convenient to me. That word does not adequately describe my paintings. I'm sure as we see them, you may understand why I use the word monolithic, and by that I mean a very singular form. In spite of the fact you might see a double form, it is essentially singular. It is essentially the form in the paintings seem to stem from a base at the bottom of the painting and thrust upward. And monolithic, as opposed to an area of painting I was in over the past 10 years or so. I was a very wild abstract painter, and I did extremely complicated, very busy surfaces. And periodically I will slow down, simplify my forms, make as economical type visual statements as I possibly can. And there are a number of painters that we know who do that. So I cut down into just one or two basic forms, and they seem to suggest monolith to me, so I use that phrase. But again, monolithic is a convenience for myself in describing these paintings. A series of paintings is a group of paintings closely related to each other. One spins off the next one, and the following one is very dependent on the preceding one, and they're all related to each other, and each painting develops out of the previous one, so that eventually you have yourself a series of you had a visual problem that you wanted to solve, or you wanted to investigate it, and the best way to investigate it is through painting in a series. Painting in a series is a deliberate development of an idea that can bear fruition at the end of 12 paintings, 15 paintings, when then you begin to do no more than repeat yourself over and over again. I'm talking about painter to painter, basically. When you begin to repeat yourself, it's time to evolve yourself away from that series or terminate the series. Talking about me and the canvas, problems that I see and I react to. The problem arises when the painting is judged on the discussion of the painting, that the ability for one to explain or discuss a painting, the painting is then judged on that person's ability to explain the painting. And the possible failure that he has to explain this painting has its effect on the quality, on a person's understanding of the quality of that painting. And what I have to say about it, or what the critic has to say about it, or what the art historian has to say about it, is more often wrong than right. Verbal justification isn't needed.